Good evening, everyone. I hope my voice is clear and my screen is also visible. Kindly confirm, is my voice clear and my screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible and your voice is audible.
Thank you, Priti. Thank you for the confirmation. Let me welcome you all on behalf of HR India Solutions in today's demo class. This is the course content which we are offering in our 1 month online HR journalist practical training program. There are three modules. The very first module is of labor laws and statutory compliances, under which we discuss almost all the important and major labor laws in India, right from Provident Fund Act to ESIC Act, and we understand on which part of salary PF and ESIC is applicable, how the monthly contributions are calculated, how the monthly challans are prepaid, and how finally these payments are paid to government by logging into government website. The other labor laws which we cover under this module is Maternity Benefit Act, and we understand which all employees are eligible to get maternity benefit, and as a HR or as an organization, what all benefit you should extend to the employee. The other labor laws which we cover are Payment of Bonus Act and Payment of Gratuity Act, and we understand which all employees are eligible to get these benefits, how these benefits are calculated, and how finally these benefits are paid to employee. The second module which we have under this online HR practical training course is of compensation and benefit, which is all about CTC and structure designing and choosing its component. We understand what is CTC, what is gross salary, what is net salary. We see how the payroll is managed and handled. We also learn income tax. We understand professional tax, labor welfare fund, loss of payment, overtime calculation and payment, leaves and holidays. And finally, we see how the full and final settlement of employees are done at the time of going. The third and final module, which we have under this online HR generalist practical training, is of recruitment and selection, which is all about talent acquisition. We understand what is job description, what is job specification, what are the various sourcing strategies nowadays companies are adopting to take care of their manpower need. We train people on Naukri.com and they become capable of finding suitable resumes or suitable candidates on the basis of various JDs and key skills. We also teach how the mass mailing can be done, what is the best way of job posting, whether you are posting on Naukri.com, LinkedIn, Indeed, or any other job portal. Nowadays, technology has started playing important role into recruitment. It is not HR manager who is shortlisting each and every applications. Now it is technology who is screening and shortlisting resumes. So we see how the various technology and ATS applicant tracking systems and RMS recruitment management softwares are taking care of recruitment. We also understand what is the use of social sites into recruitment, and then we have a dedicated session of CV writing and interview skill under this module. This is all about the course which we are offering. Let's proceed with today's demo. Before we proceed, just wanted to have an idea on what kind of audiences we have today. There would be a poll which would be appearing on your screen. I request everyone to participate and share their responses. How much experience do you have in HR? The poll is live. Everyone, kindly share your responses. Let us have an idea of what kind of audiences we have today. The speed of today audience is really good. We have already received 80% of the total response. And let me close the poll and share the result. 80% of the total population we have today are freshers. We have people from 1 to 3 years experience also, and then we have people who has got 4 to 7 years experience also. So thank you everyone. Let's proceed. In today's demo is on compensation and benefit, which is one of the most important function of HR. Why compensation and benefit is important? CNB as a function of HR is important because this function is responsible for deciding what needs to be paid. Whenever any company goes for hiring any position or whenever they create a new role in the company, this is the function which decide what salary should be paid to that position. This function also decide how it should be paid. I am referring to the breakup. What should be fixed, what should be variable. There are many companies who pay performance incentive on monthly basis. There are many companies who are paying incentive on quarterly basis. Then we have good number of companies who pay incentive on annual basis. CNB as a function of HR is also responsible for deciding when it should be paid. I am referring to timeline of frequency. Okay, and the how it should be paid is something which was related to breakup. What should be fixed, what should be variable. When it should be paid is something which is related to timeline of frequency. And CNB as a function of HR is finally responsible for paying compensation and benefit to all the employees. But this function is not that easy. Why it is not easy? This is not so easy due to absence of law. There is no law in HR which speaks about CTC annexer designing or salary breakup formation. We have law on Provident Fund, we have law on ESIC Act, we have labor laws on Payment of Bonus Act and Payment of Gratuity Act also. When we are having law on these many areas, things are easy. We know what should be done and what should not be done. But there is no law in HR which speaks about how the CTC annexer should be designed, how the CTC breakup should be formed. There is no concrete law which advises us on these functions. There are few law which speaks about payment. Let's see what those are. There is a law by the name of Minimum Wages Act. We have an act by the name of Payment of Wages Act, and we also have an act of Payment of Bonus Act, and there is an act by the name of Equal Remuneration Act. Let's see what all things these acts are taking care of. Minimum Wages Act speaks about paying minimum wages for scheduled category of employment, which do not cover each and every employee in the industry. They cover basically the workers. The Payment of Wages Act speaks about timely payment of wages and salaries, and there should not be any illegal deduction from the wages is something which this act is taking care of. But this act also cover only those employees whose monthly salaries are either 24,000 per month or less. This act also do not cover each and every employee. The Payment of Bonus Act speaks about bonus payment or profit sharing, and this only cover those employees whose monthly salaries are 21,000 per month or less. This act also do not cover each and every employee. The act by the name of Equal Remuneration Act is something which speaks about paying similar wages to all the gender. There should not be any discrimination on the basis of gender is something which this act is taking care of. All these four acts are getting combined into the new code on wages, which was about to come from April 2021. Things went on hold, but whenever the new labor law would be coming, that new labor law would be combining all these acts and there will be one code on wages. Let's proceed. In today's demonstration, we would be understanding what is compensation and what are benefits. We would also be seeing how CNB is designed, what are the various steps and components which needs to be taken care of while designing any CTC annexer or compensation and benefit package. We would also be understanding few real offer letters which has been issued by our client to our candidate. And finally, we would be preparing a CNB structure in an Excel sheet for better understanding. Before we proceed, there is a poll which is again coming up. Just wanted to have audience idea on this topic. There is a statement and you need to answer in true or false. The statement is like this. The net take-home salaries of all employees getting a CTC of 10 lakhs in 10 different companies would be same. The poll is live, everyone. The net take-home salaries of all employees working in 10 different companies but getting same CTC, would their take-home would be same? We will follow the same rule. Once we achieve a total 80% of the responses, we will close the poll and we will proceed. We have received more than 70%. Do you feel that the take-home salary of all the employees who are working in 10 different companies sitting at same CTC, their take-home salary would be same? We have received more than 80% of the response. Let me end the poll and share you the result. 93% of the population feels that the statement is wrong and the take-home salary would never be same for all these different employees who are working in different companies, even if their CTCs are same. Whereas 7% feels that yes, the take-home salary would be same. The correct answer is no. The take-home salary of all these employees who are working in 10 different companies, even if they are at same CTC, their take-home would never be same. Why it would never be same? Because CTC and Excel designing differ from company to company. Every company design their own way. CTC is designed in their own way. And why every company is designing different CTCs? Because there is no law who is asking us or advising us that CTC should be designed in this particular way. We would be seeing in the coming slide as well. So let's try to understand what exactly is compensation and what are benefits. Compensation is defined as the total amount of monetary pay provided to an employee. In simpler term, it is the money given for the work. Whatever salary, whatever money, or whatever hard cash employees are getting every month is called as compensation. If this is compensation, what is benefit? Benefit are all non-financial forms of compensation offered in addition to cash salary. Whatever salary, whatever money, or whatever hard cash which comes to you every month as a salary, you also get many facilities, benefits, and perks over and above that monthly salary, for which you do not get anything in your hand, but you enjoy good amount of benefit which is provided by the company. So all those non-financial forms of compensation or benefits or perks which are paid in addition to monthly cash salary comes under benefits. If I have to define what compensation and benefit in one line, it would be like this. The salary or money one gets is compensation. The facilities and perks one avail are benefits. Let's see what comes under compensation and what comes under benefit. Under compensation, which is the monetary part of compensation and benefit package, things like basic pay, allowances, it can be travel, meal, housing, or medical, which is paid in the form of money. All commissions and incentive, which again is paid in the form of money, overtime payment, bonuses, profit sharing, stock options. All these things are paid in the form of money. Hence, they comes under compensation. What comes under benefit, which is a non-financial form part of the package? Things like holidays and leaves, welfare facilities and cafeteria, infrastructure facilities, all these reward and recognition, all sort of insurance, medical coverage, whatever benefit the company is providing for which employee do not get any money in their hand comes under benefit. Retirer benefits during COVID, many companies are offering many kind of wellness program. The wellness program are based on mental wellness, health wellness, and financial wellness also, for which employee do not get any kind of money in their hand, but they enjoy good amount of benefit and facilities. Few more example of benefits would be like this. Health insurance, which is one of the most widely accepted benefit among Indian companies. You will find health insurance with almost all the companies. Then many companies provide dental insurance, life insurance again is something which is universally accepted one. Retirement plan, gym and fitness. Many companies are offering membership of gym and fitness club, which comes under benefit. Vision care, personal leave, sick leave, higher education. Many companies sponsor your higher education, for which you do not get any kind of money, but you again get some kind of benefit. Child care, paid leave, and there can be many more benefits. Benefits again are not coming under any labor law. There is no law or there is no act which is saying that these many benefits should be provided by each and every company. Hence, benefit also differ from company to company. Bigger company provide good amount of benefit, whereas a small company provide lesser amount of benefits. Let's see how are compensation and benefits decided. Whenever any company go for hiring anyone, or whenever they decide that they need to hire any position or they create a new position, what is the salary which should be paid to that position? How they decide, how organization decide that what should be paid to any particular position? The compensation is a broad word. Compensation can be divided into two major categories. One is salary, another is wages. The word salary is normally used for all those payments which are paid to management cadre of employees. And wages is the word which is normally used for all those payments which are paid to workers. In simpler word, management people gets salary, worker gets wages. So we would be seeing that how salaries are getting decided, and we would also be seeing that how wages are getting decided. Salaries which are paid to management cadre of employees, the factor deciding salaries are job evaluation, which is still one of the most scientific approach of deciding what should be paid to any position. Job evaluation is a comparative study of two jobs, which contains three major things: job analysis, job description, and job specification. In our actual classes, we discuss this in detail. Factor deciding salaries are education and experience. On the basis of education and experience also, salaries are getting decided. Salaries are also getting decided on the basis of demand and supply. When I'm saying demand and supply, I am referring to what is the demand of that kind of skill set or that kind of manpower, and what is the supply of that kind of manpower or that kind of skill set. If the demand is huge and supply is less, salary will go up. If the demand is very less and supply is huge, then the salary will go down. So on the basis of demand and supply of that particular set of skill set, of that particular kind of manpower, the salaries are getting decided. Salaries are also getting decided on the basis of what salary is getting paid for the other positions. It is also decided on the basis of industry or ability to pay. When I'm saying ability to pay, there are many companies like carpet industry, textile industry, or smaller industries which are not doing that great in comparison to other companies like insurance, telecom, and healthcare. These companies are really doing great. So you will see that on the basis of ability to pay of the industry, you all can keep your video off. So on the basis of ability to pay of the industry, the salaries will differ. Any manager HR who is joining textile company would be getting slightly lesser salary than the person who is joining a telecom company, healthcare company, or other better industries. And it is also decided on the basis of location or cost of living, which we would be seeing in the coming slide. And we discuss all these factors in actual classes. Let's see how the wages which are paid to workers are decided. Wages are majorly decided by the state government, which is called as minimum wages. Every state or every individual state in India has decided minimum wages for their state or their workers who are there in that state. So minimum wages is something which is decided by state government. They decide wages for people like skilled category, unskilled category, and highly skilled category. This categorization again differ from state to state. So minimum wages is a state specific rule. And let's see how state decides minimum wages for their worker. These are again decided on the basis of cost of living and location. You will see that the state where cost of living is high or which is bigger states, the minimum wages are higher. Minimum wages are also getting decided on the basis of education. Whenever you will see the minimum wages circular of the government, you will see that they are saying that matriculate would be paid this much, undergraduate undergraduate would be paid this much, and this is the minimum wages for postgraduate people. So on the basis of education, even the government is deciding minimum wages. It is labor union also plays an important role. Whenever any state government goes for deciding minimum wages for their state, they invite the important and major labor unions, and they have a good say in the meeting. We have seen that minimum wages are also decided on the basis of industries and ability to pay. You will see that whenever government release the circular of minimum wages, it is decided on the basis of industries. For agriculture sector, the minimum wages are different. For mining industry, the minimum wages are different. For manufacturing setup, the minimum wages are different. So on the basis of industries, even the government is deciding the minimum wages. And supply and demand of the position or that kind of skill set, which we have seen in the last slide. This is taking me to a question for which we do not have any poll. Just wanted to know your response on this. The minimum wages of Bihar or minimum wages in Bihar for unskilled worker is 7,592, which means in case you are planning to hire any unskilled worker in the state of Bihar, this is something which you need to pay. Paying below would be illegal. Minimum wages of Delhi for the same category of worker, unskilled worker, is 15,908 rupees. This got revised few days back only. So if you are hiring anyone in Bihar, 7,592 is the minimum wages. If you are hiring similar kind of person in Delhi, you need to pay 15,908 rupees. Now the question which I want to ask is, if the person who is working in Bihar gets transferred to Delhi, will he be getting higher wages as per the minimum wages of Delhi? Since we do not have any poll, I would request your responses in the chat box. Kindly let us know in the chat box whether this person would be getting higher wages as per the minimum wages of Delhi only because this person has got transferred from Bihar. You can respond in the chat box. Yes, we have started getting, yes, yes, yes. Okay, most of you are responding as yes. So correct answer is yes. Yes, this person will be getting higher wages or higher minimum wages as per the minimum wages of Delhi government. Now, can anybody tell me why this person will be getting higher wages? There is no increase in responsibilities. There is no increase in skill set. So only because this person has got transferred from Bihar to Delhi, why he would be getting higher salary? Yes, cost of living. Yes, all the reasons which an state told. Yes, you all are correct. Thank you very much. Yes, the logic behind is that the minimum wages of Delhi state is high, and why the minimum wage of Delhi state is high? Because due to location or cost of living. Now, this is taking me to another question for which I would not be asking answer. This is just a food for thought. What if the same person gets transferred back to Bihar from Delhi? Can the salary be reduced? This is something which I am leaving it to you. Think over it and try to find out the correct answer. We would not be discussing this, and I am not having any poll also. The person got transferred from Bihar to Delhi and his salary was increased. Now, again, when the person is getting transferred from Delhi to Bihar, can his salary be reduced? This is the question you can find out. Let's proceed for the time being. There is a poll which is again appearing. There is no right or wrong answer to this. We conduct this survey just to have an idea, which is the must have attribute to make someone the preferred choice during an interview. As I said, there is no right or wrong answer. We conduct this survey just to have an idea. Is it communication skill, or it is practical skills and knowledge, or it is degrees and certification? The poll is live, everyone. Kindly share your response. Thank you, everyone. We have received more than 80% of the responses. As I said, there is no right or wrong answer to this. Let me close the poll and share you the result. This is how the result looked. Majority of the audience, 82% feels that it is practical skills and knowledge which is important during interview. 16% feels that it is communication skill. And it is surprising to see that only 2% is voted for degrees and certification. As I said, there is no right or wrong answer to this. We normally conduct this survey just to have an idea. Proceeding further, now there are few terminology or terms which you must have heard during your day-to-day life or day-to-day working. These are total monthly gross salary. Another word is net take-home salary, and this is something which everybody must have heard. CTC, cost to the company. There is one more word by the name of C2C. Many of you must have heard this. Anyone who has heard C2C, I would request to forget this word because there is no word in HR by this name. C2C is a wrong word in HR, at least in compensation and benefit. So let's try to understand what does all this word or concept mean. What exactly is monthly gross salary or total salary? Total monthly gross salary is total monthly earning before deductions or contributions. Whatever salary was payable to you before any kind of deductions or contribution is called as monthly gross salary. What is net salary or take home salary? The name itself is very self explanatory. Net payable salary after all deductions or contribution. Whatever comes in your hand after all kind of deductions or contribution is called as net take home salary, the salary which you take to home. Cost to the company. Cost to the company is the total amount company is spending on an employee, which includes benefit and other things also. So there is a poll again. I would be sharing you the poll on screen. Let's understand the question. Can basic salary and monthly gross salary be same? I am sharing you two breakup. This is one breakup. One company is giving offer like this, where company is mentioning basic salary as 45,000, house rent allowance is zero, convenience allowance is zero, and the total monthly salary is 45,000. Another company is giving offer like this, where there is only one component, basic salary, and there is nothing else, and the total monthly gross salary is 50,000. So the poll is, can basic salary and gross salary be same? The poll is live. Everyone, kindly share your responses. Would request everyone to participate. We have already received more than 80%. Let's end the poll and I'm sharing you the result. This is the result. 60% feels that no, the breakups which are flashing on the screen are wrong and basic salary and gross salary cannot be seen. Whereas 40% feels that yes, basic salary and gross salary can be seen and whatever breakup which is flashing are correct. The right answer is yes. Basic salary and gross salary can be seen and both the breakups or both the salary breakup which is flashing on the screen are correct. Allowances are purely a choice of employer. Any employer who want to pay allowances are free to do that. All those employer who do not want to pay allowances are also free to do that. As I said, compensation and benefit for this, we do not have any act. There is no act, no labor law which is saying that CTC should be designed in this particular way. And for allowances, it is purely a choice of employer. Both the salary breakup which is showing on a screen are correct, and yes, basic salary and monthly gross salary can be seen. And we discuss in detail in your actual classes what are the various possibilities. So this is something which is one of the most important step or one of the most important part of this demonstration, designing CNB package. Once we have decided that this is the salary which you would be paying to any position, how are compensation and benefits designed? What are the processes or what are the steps of designing the CNB package? There are 5 steps of designing any CNB package. And once you are done with all these 5 steps, your entire process of designing CTC breakup or CNB package would be complete. As a very first step, we decide the fixed or base pay. Under this, we work on basic salary and DNS allowance. DNS allowance is something which is normally found with government organizations only. You will not find DNS allowance with the private companies or private organizations. So as a first step, we decide what should be the basic salary, and if your company is offering DA, you need to decide what should be the DA. Once you are done with first step, in the second step, you need to work on the allowances. Whatever allowances your company is offering, you need to add that part. Allowances can be on account of house rent allowance, conveyance allowance, medical allowance, special telephone, internet, and other. As I said earlier, allowances are purely a choice of company which differ from company to company. In one company, you will find different set of allowances. In other company, you can see there are different set of allowances. So as a second step, you work on the allowances. Whatever allowances your company is offering, you add that. In the third step, you work on retirals and statutory compliances. This is something which you do not decide actually. This comes from the labor law point of view, and you calculate the cost of this. Whatever the employer would be contributing to all these statutory bodies on behalf of employee, you need to add that. Retirals or statutory contributions can be on account of Provident Fund, ESIC Act, Labor Welfare Fund, which is a state-specific rule. In many states, you will not find Labor Welfare Fund, and many company add gratuity and bonus, and there are many company who do not add gratuity and bonus also. So both the companies are correct. Once you are done with these 3 steps, in the fourth step, you add the cost of perks and benefit which your company is offering to the employees. This can be on account of medical insurance, life insurance, club membership, vision care, or higher education. Whatever allowances your company is offering, whatever benefit your company is offering, you can add the cost of that. And in the last and final step, you add the cost of variable pay or incentive. If the position is something which is related to target achievement, and on the basis of achievement of target, the person will be getting some kind of performance bonus or incentive, you can add the cost of that also, or what the amount of variable pay. The various name which is given to these components are performance incentive. Many company call it as PLI, performance linked incentive. Many company call it as performance bonus. Many company pay variable pay or incentive on the basis of company's performance, and there are incentive or variable pay on the basis of long service award also. So once you are done with all these 5 steps, your entire designing of compensation and benefit package would be complete. So we have seen that the component or the steps of CNB package are deciding the base pay or fixed pay, working on allowances, calculating the statutory contributions, adding the cost of benefit and perks, and if the position is something which is related to variable pay or performance bonus, you need to add this. So these are the 5 steps of designing any CNB package. Now, how can we calculate the net salary, gross salary, and CTC, which we have seen earlier? If you add basic salary and allowances, the first two steps or component of CTC breakup, it will take you to gross salary. If you subtract employee contribution, employee also contribute every month from their salary to government bodies or statutory benefits like provident fund, ESIC, labor welfare fund, or professional tax. So whatever contribution employee is making from their salary, if you deduct from the gross salary, you will reach to take home salary. And if you add gross salary with whatever contribution the employer is making on behalf of employee, it will take you to the cost of the company. So whenever you are designing any CNP package, it can be of various type. There are various compensation model. The very first model of compensation package is traditional model of compensation package, which is this is a model where entire CNP structure is decided by the company and the employee has no choice. The entire CTC annexure or salary breakup has been decided by the company and employee do not have any choices or freedom to change or modify that. Hence, this is called as traditional model of compensation package. The second model of compensation package is flexible. Flexible model of compensation package is a model where employee has a freedom to choose salary components from the basket of components offered by the company. We would be seeing the example in the coming slide. And then third, obviously, is a combination of with both, where employee get minimum freedom to change or modify any allowance or any salary component. So this is an example of traditional model of compensation package in which basic salary and all allowances are decided and fixed by the employer. Employee do not have any choice. All these salary components, basic salary, house rent allowance, conveyance, and special allowance, this has been decided by the company. All these amounts under basic salary, HRA, conveyance, and special is also decided by the company, and employee do not have any choice to either modify these allowances or to change these amount. Hence, this is called as traditional model of compensation package where each and everything is decided by the company and employee has no choice. This is an example of flexible model of compensation package in which company has decided to pay 60,000 per month to this person. Out of 60,000, company is deciding that 25,000 would be paid as basic salary, the first step of CTC and exit designing. And rest amount of 35,000 has been put under flexi compensation. Now, the employee is free to take this 35,000 among any of these allowances. Employee is free to decide on which allowances the person wants to take salary, and employee is also free to decide how much money they want to take under these salary components. The employee can divide entire 35,000 among two allowances, three allowances, or the entire allowances. He is free to choose the salary components, and he is also free to choose the salary amount. Hence, this is called as flexible model of compensation package in which the person is having freedom to decide their salary breakup and salary amount. Now let's have a look on few of the real offer letters which has been issued by our client to our candidate and try to understand how this offer letter formation or CTC annexure designing differ from company to company. This is first set of offer letter where the company is offering 13 lakhs 30,008 rupees. In this offer letter, company is mentioning that net in hand. This would be the salary which would be coming in your hand. In the bottom blue box, you will see that company is also mentioning that there will be an additional monthly deduction towards Mediclaim insurance. Means the company is taking the cost of benefit of Mediclaim insurance from the employee, and there would be further deduction. So the take-home salary which is mentioned in the offer letter would be further going down. All these incentives or variable pay which is mentioned in the red box, you will also be eligible for max performance link bonus of 2,66,000. You are also eligible for max performance link quarterly incentive of 66,500. These are not mentioned in the salary component. These are over and above the monetary CTC. So this company has not included variable pay in the CTC. Variable pay is not a part of CTC. You will see that PF contribution is only 1,800, whereas the basic salary is 55,000, which means this company is limiting PF contribution to 1,800 only. And we discuss what are the various possibility of provident fund. Yes, employer is free to do that, and employer is not wrong. You will also see that bonus is something which is coming under the gross salary. We have seen that bonus is a retirement benefit or a statutory benefit, and this comes after the gross, but this company has included bonus in the gross salary, which means bonus is a part of monthly salary for this person and not a part of annual CTC. And you will also see that gratuity is nowhere mentioned in the offer letter. This company is not including gratuity as a part of CTC. This is one set of offer letter. This is another set of offer letter in which there is one component by the name of leave travel allowance. Now company is asking the employee that whether you want to take this amount as leave travel allowance or you want to convert this amount into special allowances. So there is a freedom or choice with only one allowance with the employer. Hence, this is a combined model of compensation package. Rest of all allowances are fixed. You will see that provident fund in this breakup is 4,434, whereas the basic salary is lesser than the previous one. In the previous offer letter, the basic salary was 55,000 and the PF contribution was only 1,800. In this offer letter, the basic salary is 36,000 and the PF contribution is 4,434, which means PF is not limited to 1,800. You will also see that this offer letter has gratuity component. This company is adding gratuity as a part of CTC. So this is another way of calculating offer letter or making offer letter. In this offer letter, which is not that professionally correct, you will see that there is an amount by the name of ad hoc allowance, which contains 4,82,502. And then we also have, this is a flexi component. We also have provident fund and gratuity, and these are coming under the base salary. These are not a component of base salary. These are component of CTC, and they should always come after the monthly gross salary. This is the corrected version of this offer letter where we have matched the CTC of 15,95,000 and we have taken provident fund and gratuity after the gross salary under retirees. Let's have a look on last offer letter. This is one set of offer letter which is purely a flexible in nature and very employee friendly also. Under this offer letter, the company is offering 10 lakh CTC to this person. And out of 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs 8,000 is 5 lakh 8,000 is something which is put under flexi component. Now the employee has a choice to choose salary accounts, heads, and allowances in which the person wants to take this salary amount. Company has only included provident fund into the CTC. There is variable pay also or performance bonus, and you will see that all these benefits, all benefits, insurance, even the gratuity is not coming under the CTC breakup. All these benefits and perks are over and above the monetary CTC of 10 lakhs. So this offer letter designing or CTC NSA designing differ from company to company, and we have seen that why it is differing due to absence of law. There is no law which is guiding us. So let's, whatever we have seen, let's try to make a offer letter on the Excel sheet. I hope my Excel sheet is visible. Okay.
No, so the Excel is not visible. Now
I hope it is visible, and we have lifted the restriction of mic. You all can unmute yourself and you can speak. So let's try to make a CTC breakup on whatever steps which we have seen. I have taken a monthly CTC of 21,000 intentionally because I want to include ESIC into the calculation. All those employees whose salaries are 21,000 or less comes under ESIC Act. All those people whose salary is more than 21,000 do not come under ESIC Act. So there are many labor laws. So now let's try to calculate the CTC breakup of 21,000 as a first step, which we have seen. In the first step, what we do, we decide the base salary. And under base salary, what exactly we do? We decide the basic salary. In basic salary should be how much? Currently, it is kept as 40 to 50% of CTC. So we have a CTC of 21,000. Let's try to keep 50% of this as basic salary. And why 40 to 50%? There is no law which is saying that basic should be kept as 40 to 50% of CTC. This is something which is happening since long and everybody is doing like that. But there is no law which is saying that basic has to be 40 or 50%. As an employer, you can keep 80% also, you can keep 90% also. Going above is always allowed. So we are done with the first uh, part. DA is something which is not normally found with the private organizations. So let's not do not keep DA. In the second step, we have seen that we need to work on the allowances or add the allowances which your company is providing. Allowances can be many and which differ from company to company. Let's keep HRA, which is something you will see that almost all the companies have HRA component in the salary slip. So HRA is normally kept as 40 to 50% of basic salary. And why it is kept 40 to 50% of basic salary? Because this much amount is getting benefited from the income tax law. Now HR is something which is not doing anything. There is income tax act which is guiding us that HRA should be kept as 40% or 50% of the basic, depending upon where the person is staying. If the person is staying in a non-metro city, you can keep 40% HRA of basic, and if the person is staying in a metro city, you can go up to 50% of basic as HRA. This much money the person will be getting discount in the income tax. In this way, you can say. So let's assume that this person is staying in a non-metro city, and we would be keeping 40% of basic as HR. Allowances, you can have many allowances. Let's anybody who can guide me what other allowances we can keep. We can keep telephone allowances, telephone allowance. So telephone allowance can be kept as what amount? Any amount which seems logical. Let's keep 1200, which seems logical. 1200 can be kept. You cannot keep a illogical amount which is not getting related to the telephone allowance. One more allowance you will find with almost all the salary component, which is allowance. This is something which you will find with all most of the company. Trust me, there is nothing special with this allowance. This allowance is normally used as adjusting amount. Whatever amount which would be coming as a difference is put under this special allowance. There is no logic. This amount is normally used as a adjusting amount or difference amount. Whatever would be there would be entered into this. So we have also seen that if we add the first two component, basic salary and allowances, we will reach to gross salary. So let's see where exactly we have reached. We have reached to 15,900. We are trying to reach 21,000 as CTC. So we are done with two steps and we have calculated the gross salary. This amount I am leaving blank. We would be putting the amount later on. Whatever amount would be coming as a difference, we would be using that amount in this step. As a third step, we have seen that it is statutory compliances. So under statutory compliances, there are many statutory compliances which you can add. The two most important and biggest one are Provident Fund and ESI, which are applicable to entire country. There are many acts which are applicable to few states only, labor welfare fund and like that. So let's take PF by employer. Anybody who can say how much percentage contributed by company? Company contributes 13% into provident fund. Many must be thinking that it is 12%. No, employer contribute 12% plus one more person. This 1% is contributed on behalf of EDLI and PF admin charges. Point 0.5 goes into PF admin charges and 0.5 goes into EDLI, which is a insurance. So let's calculate 13%. How much the company would be contributing? 13% of gross salary is 2067. Many must be thinking that I have calculated PF on gross salary where it can be calculated on basic. Look, there are many possibilities as far as PF contributions or calculations are concerned. If this is the salary 30,000, there are these many options. Employer can contribute on 15,000 even if the basic salary is 60,000. Employer can also contribute on total basic of 16,000. Employer can also contribute on total gross salary of 30,000. And employer can also contribute on 20,000, 22,000, which is gross minus HRA. As an employee, you have one more option apart from above four. As an employee, you can contribute 100% of your basic into provident fund which is called as voluntary provident fund. Why this confusion arises? Because basic wages and basic salary are not one and same thing, which we discussed in the actual classes. This was the PF judgment or the Supreme Court judgment, which was given in July 19. This is the result of that. So we have calculated provident fund. And provident fund is contributed at the rate of 13% by company. Now ESI by employer. Anybody who can guide me how much employer contribute? Employer contribute 3.25% in ESIC every month for employee. And there is no confusion, no doubt, ESI is calculated on gross salary. So we have calculated these two statutory benefits. If you want to add gratuity or bonus, you are free to do that. But these two are good enough to start with or to understand the breakup. Now, in the fourth step, we have seen that we can add the cost of benefit. Whatever benefit your company is providing, you can add the cost of that. Suppose you, as a company, is providing medical insurance to this person, and the monthly premium which you are paying for this person is 300 or 200. Let's You can add this cost of benefit which we have seen in one offer letter where company was saying that there would be a further reduction on account of medical insurance. So if you are giving medical coverage to the employee, you can add the cost of this. So we are done with the fourth step also. As a last step, we need to have this variable pay. If the position is like something which is required to achieve some kind of target, and on the basis of target achievement this employee would be getting some kind of money, you can add the cost of that. This is called as PLI or performance bonus. Let's assume that if this person achieves certain kind of target, he would be getting paid as 600 rupees. So we are done with all the 5 steps of CTC breakup design. And we have seen that CTC, how CTC can be calculated or cost of the company can be calculated. It is gross salary plus contribution which are made by the company. So let's calculate. I am adding the contributions which employer will be making plus the monthly gross salary. So we have reached to 19,284, whereas we are looking to reach to 21,000. Now there is a difference amount. 21,000 minus 19,284. There is a difference of 1,716 rupees. Now this cell has become active. Now 80% of the HR professionals, you will see that they would try to put 1,716 rupees in this cell. Let's try to see that whether we are getting 21,000 as CTC or not. By putting this amount, I am entering 1716, the difference amount, into this cell allowance. And let's see whether we are reaching to the desired CTC of 21,000 or not. No, we have not reached. We have crossed this 21,000 CTC. Now there is a amount which is remaining. So this, am I audible, Preeti?
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
now the difference is 279. This HR professional would try to subtract this amount from the special allowances. Let me do that. Let's try to subtract 279 and let's see whether we are reaching to the desired figure of 21,000 or not. Again, we have not reached. There is a difference of 46 rupees. Now let's add 46 rupees in this. Again, there is a difference of 8 rupees. Let's subtract 8. Difference of 2 is still there. Let's add 2. Difference of 1 is there. Now we have reached to the desired figure of 21,000 by doing so many manual activities. So this is something which is so many manual activities and we keep on trying. So let me shift to another sheet of mine, which is automated CTC calculator. This is made in advanced Excel and the entire sheet is formula driven. You go to any cell and you will see that there is some kind of formula which is uh, used. If you go to this cell, you will see that this is the formula which is there. If you go to this cell, you will see that this is the formula. So every cell has got some kind of formula and entire sheet is formula driven. Now let's try to find out the breakup of 21,000 which we did in the last sheet. So there is a option by the name of data. Go into data. Under data, you will find a option by the name of what if analysis. Under what if analysis, select the goal seek option. I have selected goal seek option. Goal seek is asking me 3 things. Very first is set the cell. Set the cell or select the cell in which I am looking for value. I have selected cost to the company cell. Second question which this Excel is asking me is to value. What is the value which I am looking in this cell. I am looking for 21,000 as CTC. I am done with 2. As a third and last question, Excel is asking me by changing cell. Excel is asking me to allot a cell in which Excel would be trying by putting different values. I am allotting this cell to Excel. I have answered three things: the cell in which I am looking for value, the value which I am looking for, and the cell which is given to Excel to try the calculation. Uh, Please give a closer look. Once I click OK, you will see that how the entire breakup is getting calculated automatically. See, we are done with the breakup of 21,000. We have got basic salary, conveyance, PF, gratuity. You see, everything is calculated. So this should be the way when we have technology and automation. This is the preferred way of calculating CTC and Excel. Now let's try to have another figure which is slightly odd. Again, go into data. Under data, you will find what if analysis. Under what if analysis, there is option by the name of goal seek. Goal seek would be asking you three things: set the cell, set the cell in which we are looking for value, to value, what is the value we are looking for. Let's try to have slightly odd figure: 897,867. This can be a CTC figure which is 8,97,867. So this is the CTC for which we are trying to have breakup, which we are trying to find breakup for this CTC figure. And again, by changing cell, Excel is asking for a cell for trying the calculation. I have allotted this. So we are trying to find out the salary breakup or CTC breakup of a CTC of 8,97,867. Let me click and let's see whether we are getting the breakup calculated automatically or not. So we have got the salary breakup of 8,97,866 calculated. So there is a question which is coming up in the chat box. So give us 5 more minutes and we would be opening the session for question and answer, and you can ask your question and we would be happy to reply that. So this is how we are calculating the CTC breakup. Let's see, there can be a case when you are not deciding on this on the basis of CTC, you are deciding on the basis of take home salary. You have decided that you would be paying 60,000 as take home salary to someone. This Excel sheet will help you in that case also. So let's try to have a breakup for 60,000 take home salary or any figure which you want to have. Again, you need to go into what if analysis, goal seek. Now set the cell. This time we need to select the cell in which we are looking for value. I am selecting net take home salary cell. We are looking for value in this cell. Now, what is the value which we are looking for? 50, 60, 70, anything which you want to, let's have 70,000. We are trying to find out breakup of 70,000 take home salary. I have mentioned 70,000, and as a third cell, I am allotting this cell to the Excel. Now, whatever breakup would be coming, that would be coming for 70,000 take home salary. We are not concerned about what would be the CTC. We are not bothered about the CTC figure. We are more concerned about the take home salary. We are trying to find out salary breakup for 70,000 take home salary. I clicked OK. Now we have got the breakup of 70,000 take home salary in a second. So this is how it should be calculated. In our actual classes, we teach people how to make this automated CTC breakup. And in the very beginning, I have asked the question whether the take-home salary of all the people would be same or not, where they are working with different companies, but they are getting same CTC. Now, this is an example of three company: company A, company B, and company C. All these three companies are offering a CTC of 7 lakhs. But company A is giving a net take-home salary of 49,313. Company B is offering a take-home salary of 40,495, and 38,991 is the take-home salary in company C. With the same CTC, you will see that the take-home salaries are getting different. Why it is getting different? Because this company, the way of calculating CTC in this company is different. This company has neither taken any benefit nor gratuity in the CTC calculation. This company has taken everything. This company has variable pay in the CTC and Excel. So it would differ from company to company. It is very difficult to say that the take-home salary would be same. Every company decide CTC breakup or design CTC breakup in their own way, which suits them and their employee. And why everybody is deciding differently? Because there is no law which is guiding us or helping us or saying us that it should be designed in certain way. And these are the various allowances which can be picked while making any CTC breakup. These are the tax-free component which should be taken into consideration while designing any CTC breakup. All this we discuss in the actual class in detail. Let me go to my PDF. I hope I am back to my PDF PPT. So yes, you all can unmute and speak also. I hope my PPT is visible now. So we have seen that there are various part of CTC, and this is something which is the monthly salary you are offering to the employee. All this employer contribution is, this is the cost employer is incurring and wants to show. Showing or not showing is purely an employer choice. Any company who has not mentioned PF gratuity, or any company who has not mentioned a statutory benefit, that is not giving an excuse to avoid the law. Even if they are not mentioned, these things will become applicable from the labor law point of view. Any company who has not mentioned gratuity in the offer letter, that does not mean that company would not be paying gratuity. Company has to pay gratuity whether they have mentioned in the offer letter or not. So the showing or not showing is purely employer choice. Not showing or not mentioning is not an excuse to avoid law. And there are many offer letter where you will see that company is also mentioning net take home salary. So this is something which is purely an optional one and depend upon the choice of the employer. If you want to show, you can show. If you do not want to show, you can do that as well. So if you want to pay 50,000, or any company who wants to pay 50,000 to any employee, this 50,000 can be paid in various ways. There are various possibilities in which 50,000 can be paid. 50,000 can be paid in this way also, where you have only one component of basic salary. 50,000 per month can also be paid in this way, basic salary and HRA. 50,000 can also be paid in this way, where you have two, three components. And 50,000 can also be paid in this way. But paying 50,000 in this way or this way or this way is wrong. And we discuss in detail. There are three full classes for compensation and benefit, and we are trying to discuss only one topic in 1 hour's time. So we are about to close, and I would be opening for the question answer session. There is a poll which would again be appearing. A compensation structure should address which of the following objective: whether it should take care of compliance with the labor laws, or less burden to the employer in terms of cost, or less tax liability and more in the hand of employees, or all the above. So poll is live, everyone. Kindly share your responses. Okay, let me close the poll and share you the result. 80% says that all of the above, and the correct answer is yes, all of the above. A good salary structure should take care of uh, all of the above. All the purpose should be fulfilled. So we have seen that what is compensation and what are benefit. We have also seen that how is CNB designed. We have seen what are the steps and what are the components which should be taken care of. We have also understood few real offer letters, and finally we have made a CNB structure in an Excel sheet. So before, this is the last poll. Sorry, I bothered you a lot. This is the last poll. Kindly share your free and frank opinion on the demo class today, and we would be opening the session for question answer session. As I said, I would not be sharing the responses, but your responses are really motivating one. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your response. So this is COVID impact we have seen. There are so many job cuts and every company is laying off. I guess this would further continue. The time ahead is there will be more job cuts and layoffs by the organizations. Company would be merging multiple jobs and they would be creating one role. Preference would be given to all those employees who are multi-skilled and trained. Survival of the fittest, which is everybody know, we need to remain updated and skilled. This is the course or module which we are offering. People are free to go for individual module also. Labor law, the fee of labor law is 2,000. The fee for compensation and benefit model is 1,500. The fee for recruitment and selection is 1,000. Anybody who is going for entire course, the discounted fee is 3,500. For statutory compliances and labor law, there will be 5 classes. For compensation and benefit, there will be 3 classes. For recruitment and selection, there will be 2 classes. This we would be discussing. The total fee, if you add, is 4,500, but the discounted fee is 3,500 only. And these are the numbers on which you can reach. So important course details. The course duration is 25 hours. Is 10 classes or 25 hours. Classes happens on Saturday and Sunday only. 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. is the time. Study materials are given on each and every module or topic. Access to all live class recording. Whatever classes we conduct, or every class gets recorded, and you get the recording of the class on the very same day. That remain with you, and you can view the recording for as many as the number of times as per your convenience. We conduct practice tests after every topic. Once we complete Provident Fund, we conduct a practice test. Once we complete ESIC, we conduct a practice test. When we do this compensation and benefit model, we conduct a practice test. These practice tests do not affect your final certification. We do this practice test just to understand where exactly we are, how the learning is going on. And then there is a certificate after the completion of training, which is ISO 9000 certified one, and offline doubt and clarification support is also there. This is how the course runs. We start with module 1, where there are 5 classes. After completing this, we move to module 2, which is of compensation and benefit, under which we conduct 3 classes. After completing this, we move to module 3, which has got 2 classes, and from again we start with module 2. So entire course runs in a cyclic way. Admission can be taken when we are starting this module. Admission can also be taken when we are starting this module, and admission can also be taken when we are starting the module. The next admission is from 27th June, which is Sunday. This is the certificate, sample certificate, which we issue, which people are flashing on LinkedIn, and they are showing as license or certification. These are few good words from the students. We had conducted webinar with Aligarh Muslim University. We had conducted webinar with Sri Siddhi Vinayak colleges. There are many MBA colleges who are recommending their student to this course. And recently we conducted a webinar with ISM Patna. So let me remain on this slide. Now it is over to you. All can ask. Somebody has interacted that sir samajh nahi aa raha. So yes, Sulti, you can ask your question. Anything from the demo class or anything from the course which you are offering, any questions you want to ask, feel free to ask. And I hope my colleague Preeti would be sharing you this YouTube and LinkedIn detail. If you visit our LinkedIn page, you would be able to see on which all opening we are working. On YouTube page or YouTube channel, you will find many tutorials are there, which you can see, and you can find out how the way we are teaching, whether the style of good or not. So you can kindly visit us on these social platforms also. Now over to you, everyone. Anything from the demo which we have seen, or anything from the course which you want to know?
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, please.
Hello, am